So Nathan, I've just got myself a coffee because it's a bit busy at the moment. And I thought I needed to prop myself up. But I think you're probably not so worn out as me because you do lots of exercise, don't you? So how do you fit it into your life? How do you
Uh,
organise your time?
I mean, I am more worn out than you. I'm absolutely destroyed. I've done too much. Exercise is dangerous. When I'm not at the gym or I'm not running, when I'm not at the gym, I've only been once. Let's get that straight. I've only been once. I like to organize my life when I get up in 15-minute increments. So it doesn't always work. But my idea is that I'll get up and I'll have 15 minutes, and in that first 15 minutes, I have to do a workout, which isn't actually a big workout. It's more because I've got a bad back, so I like to make sure that I've lubricated my back and moved around a bit. So in that 15 minutes, I can do that, or I can just have a little longer kip if I'm not in the mood. And then after that, I've got 15 minutes to get dressed and have breakfast. So I allow myself those 15 minutes, and I can do anything I want in those 15 minutes. So I'm usually faffing about on my phone whilst eating. And then after those 15 minutes, I've got 15 minutes to prepare my lunch for the day if I'm going out to work and get ready to go. And that just keeps me organized. It's dull, but it's also it's a little bit flexible because I'm obviously not saying I've got to do this, I've got to do that. But I know there's this amount of time before my bus will leave, so I just break it down into blocks like that.
Nice.
What about you? How do you do your exercising?
Well, I don't really have an exercise plan. It's a bit. I did do one embarrassing thing to make my knees strong. So I do a squat every time I clean my teeth. But I've only been doing that since April, so 8 months of that. Yeah,
No.
because that keeps my knees strong. Because then I can go on the seesaw with my grandson and my granddaughter when she gets a bit bigger. So it's very important. But what I do in the morning is so I wake up and then my husband very kindly brings me a cup of tea in bed and some biscuits, and then I do a bit of family history. It's a good way to start the day. And so there is just on my iPad, and it is just pootling around online. I don't write anything down. I will type up little notes into my iPad. Simple. I don't do it every morning because some mornings I don't wake up in time. But if I do wake up in time, which is a couple of mornings a week, I wake up with enough time to do this and I do a bit. It's great. And when I do, I'm like, oh, I should wake up early every day.
Yeah, well, that's a really great way to fit it in as well, isn't it? Even if it's only 10 or 15 minutes, you've done something. Like,
Mm.
you can make quite quick progress, like with just one document, can't you? And it makes you feel good and it spurs you on to do more as well, I guess.
Mm.
That's a
Mm.
really good way to fit it
It's a very nice way to start the day.
in.
Yeah.
Although if you get too involved, you might not want to go to work. You'll be like, oh my God,
That does happen. That does happen as well.
Helen's phoning sick again. She must be doing something.
Hey. Yeah. So anyway, how's your week been on the family history front?
Typically annoying, I'd say. So going against everything that I've been saying, um, is it a rabbit hole? I don't know, but I'm lost. I've been sucked in. I've gone from Mr. I want to get facts to Mr. I'm starting to get facts. Oh no, I've been sucked into these people's lives. And it's all very interesting. And I've only just scratched the surface of it as well. So
That's so funny. So after our last podcast meeting, I was feeling so guilty and so disorganized because I've just been watching you progress over the last year doing your family history, and you've been so methodical, and your tree is growing great, and your tree score is great on ancestry, and you have your plan and you do this and you do that, and I keep telling you do this and do that, and then I'm such a big fat hypocrite myself, and I half do this and I half do that, and I do another half thing, and then I dive down another rabbit hole and don't really finish anything I start. So I was like, I am going to learn from my student. You're very fast stopping being my student, but I'm gonna, because that's always the thing people say, don't you? You learn off your students. So I'm gonna learn off you. I'm gonna stick, I think I said this before, I'm gonna stick with my 3 times great grandparents, but I'm on the project of building them out, down, forwards. Yeah. So
yeah,
that I can get all my information about the current people for my wannabe DNA uh, investigations. So I started over on the left-hand side of my tree with my paternal line, and I was so methodical and so organized, and I didn't diverge at all. I even found someone who was a flagger. I have no idea what that is, but I was like, resist. Do not bypass that rabbit hole. Do not enter the rabbit hole. Otherwise, you'll go.
not engaged the flagger.
Yes, I don't know what it is. So, because I'm not allowed to deviate from the plan of adding people to the tree, which I'm very bad at that.
Hmm.
I've been researching for a long time, and I think in total I have about 700 people, which for how many years I've been researching is probably the smallest tree, slowest grown tree. It's like a little bonsai.
Sounds like a lot to me.
No, lots of people have like 12,000 and things.
Wow. I
God.
don't even know how you'd organise that.
No, I don't know either.
I get lost on my tree and there's only a couple of hundred on mine.
Hmm. While we're talking about trees, should we talk about? We thought a nice topic for today would be, because we're both in tree building mode, we'd be talking about how to build a great family tree.
Yeah, I mean, definitely it's core, isn't it? It's what you need.
Mm. Mm. It is what you need, isn't it?
It is.
Can you imagine doing your family history without having a family tree to help you?
But it wouldn't exist, would it? I don't understand. I can't comprehend it without it. So no,
Mm.
it would be weird.
So, can you think? I'm putting you on the spot as ever. With your like, as you go about adding people to your tree and building a tree over the past year, are there things that you've found useful, interesting, annoying?
Oh yes.
Yes.
Where to begin there? Useful, obviously, for on Ancestry. We've talked about this before, but the hints are good because it draws you into various documents. Obviously, you have to take them with a pinch of salt, but it does give you a good starting point if you are like, where do I begin with this guy? I found this last week when I got back to the Savills. I didn't know the family very well. I didn't know the names, but the hints obviously instantly say, what about this census? What about that census? So I think they're great. They do draw you in. And again, the positive there is that it helps you. If you say, yes, I like this census and it relates to my family and there's siblings in there, it'll put them in, or, children,
Mm.
whatever. It will add them to your tree, which is great. And I love that. But then there's a flip side to that where I get a bit stressed with it, where I feel sometimes it might be creating duplicates of people because the names are similar but different, or that they're so different but also very similar, and it can't quite recognize it. I had it happen last week. I've got an Anne and Amy, and then another person whose name is somewhere in between Anne and Amy, and I can't work out who's who and which one doesn't exist. One of them doesn't exist, and then one of them's a duplicate of the other. But there's been so many different like transcript errors. It's quite confusing.
Mm.
And I know I should be grateful that it's putting all these in, but I know there's potentially a couple of rogue people appearing on my tree, and that really makes me feel quite sweaty. So I don't like that, but I don't know a way around it. It's not their fault, but it's tricky. If you're not, I guess what I'm saying is if you're not looking for it, you could potentially just go through your tree, add all these people, and you're creating duplicates that aren't real or semi-similar people. So I find that a bit tricky.
Mm.
But I guess that's due diligence, isn't it? It's like double checking everything. So
I think you've touched on a really good point that you said about awareness, and that's something that all of us have when we're probably when you do anything in life, but definitely with family history, then we get more and more knowledge and skills, and each time we run into a problem, we learn from it and get better at doing our research or know our way around it, or we realize a mistake we've made, and then we go, okay, I won't make that mistake next time. I'll make a different mistake, but not that one. And yesterday I had such a nice morning. I was editing Chris Payton's next article, which is going to go in the February issue of Family Trees. We have to work so far ahead. So that goes to print in a few weeks' time. People can read it in January. And it's all about the value of revisiting your research to make your tree better.
yeah.
And even the great, fantastic, world-class genealogist Chris Payton, he shares some of the things that he got wrong when he started out kind of quarter of a century ago. And just those assumptions you make, there's somebody, right name, right place, you're like, Bob's your uncle, pop them in there, and then it turns out you've got the wrong right name, right place person. You should have chosen the other one. And he said he carried on and built another further 3 generations back off this wrong person.
Oh my.
So, but that's so easily done, isn't it?
It
So,
is, and like I've obviously experienced that in this first year. I've gone back and revisited research that I did when I was starting out, and obviously didn't have the skills that I've got now. And I'm not saying I've got good skills now, but back then I didn't have any skills. So pressing buttons and just making assumptions that you don't think are assumptions at the time. You're just like, yeah, this is right, this is fine.
mm,
Whereas now it's like, okay, check all these facts, look at the data, and it's a different brain, isn't it?
mm. So I think that would be one key tip
Mm.
for building a great tree is to do periodical revisits. to check, does it hold up? Have you found any information in the meantime that makes us think, oh, actually,
Yeah. I mean, I think I said a few months ago, I was going to do that. I was going to go back to each strand and just revisit the people that I started with. I haven't done, of course, but yeah, I see a lot of value in that. I might have to read that article.
oh, you'll love it. You will love it. It's it's kind of extremely humble on the one hand by Chris, and then also extremely perceptive and useful.
Yeah, equally terrifying, I imagine.
Well, it is a bit gutting, isn't it? But you just got to get it. The facts have got, that's the basic thing. The facts have got to be correct. Like we always say, family history isn't all about just names and dates, and it isn't. But you do have to get the right names and dates in the right places. Otherwise, everything else doesn't exist, does it? It's just made
Yeah,
up.
it doesn't. Yeah, well, it's like I was saying the other week about my Albert Hearn, who some other people have married off and given him a different life in Manchester.
Mm.
Died at the age of 20. It's completely different, isn't it? So yeah, you get your facts wrong and you're making up stories, aren't you? It is quite sad.
Mm. And I mean, that's a tricky thing as well, because it's very easy. Once let's say we purposefully go back to our tree to revisit it, to think, right, have we got our facts straight? And we're on a mission. So we're in the kind of, in that phase, we're in the accepting mode that we're just humans and we've very possibly made a mistake. So we're alert to that fact. And so if we do come across things, we're happy to change them. And then when we look at other people's trees, we can go, oh, they've got that bit wrong there. And it's easy to see that. But then it can be quite tough when someone contacts you out of the blue and says, hang on a minute, you've got this branch wrong or that connection wrong. That's quite tough, isn't it, when you're not expecting it? Have you had that happen to you yet, Nathan?
I haven't had it happen to me, but I can imagine it must be awful. Imagine if somebody came to me and told me that George Horatio Nelson wasn't my relative. And I'd be like, I've spent like months in this guy's life and got to know all his family. And it's like, oh my God, chopped off. No, it would be awful.
It is quite hard. And because none of us deliberately make a mistake, we all, based on the knowledge we have, and our levels of knowledge is obviously going to vary massively, isn't it?
Mhm.
Based on that knowledge, we think we've done the right thing. So when someone tells us it's wrong, it could be quite easy to be a bit defensive about it and to always assume it's always like mistakes in other people's trees. We're very quick to talk about mistakes in other people's trees. And then,
Yeah.
so I love Chris's attitude, him holding his hand up and go, hey, I've made a mistake. And somebody did contact him and said, I think you've got the wrong couple. And he had the good grace to go back and check everything and amend
Mm.
it. So I
That's
think if he can do that, then the rest of us can be, as he says, take a sucker punch. Oh, it's such a good article. You've got to read it all. So good. So
Oh,
helpful.
well, I will. And you do, don't you? You can't get caught up in the romance of it all and be like, well, I've got this person, and like I've just said, spent years, so long in their lives. If it's wrong, it's wrong. You need to, and if the facts prove it, you need to, like say, just suck it up and move on. Hopefully, the cup might make it more interesting. Which if you've got an interesting story, then it's like, oh, fine, that is actually quite intriguing, as opposed to it just being a bit boring. I'm gonna say like mine with the Albert thing. If I were to tell the people that I've got it wrong on their tree, oh, he actually went to war and he died in the war and this happened, it's an interesting story at least, as opposed to, oh, I went to Manchester, got married and worked in a cheese shop or whatever.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know. I
Yeah.
guess you're gonna have to be tactful, aren't you, with everybody? That's humble and tactful and gracious and yeah.
Mm. And there's something about us being humans. We don't like changing our trees. That's why there's lots of trees left there, and lots of people don't reply if you do
Mm.
suggest maybe they need to.
Well, it's a lot of work, isn't it, as well? And then you've got all these people that potentially aren't in your tree. And then even if you cut them out of your tree, they're still going to be in your head slightly. So when you're doing your research, you'll be like, you'll get to names that you're suddenly recognizing again. And it's like, you could have to pull yourself back because you've got too much knowledge almost.
Mm.
And that
And
might,
also, I mean, I wouldn't advise any, just because someone contacts you and says you've got it wrong, you don't have to agree with them. You need to go through what they're saying, go through what you're saying. Maybe you start from scratch on that bit and go, okay, this is what we both think. Let's have another look again at all these records and see what else we can piece together.
yeah,
Definitely think people shouldn't just agree with somebody else without checking it. Otherwise, that's just another layer of unanalyzed info, or it's shaky, isn't it?
definitely. Because you're relying on their information being right and you don't know what level of historian they are. They might be, again, like it's in the weekend historian, or whether they're actually really into it and actually have got all the facts right.
Mm.
Terrifying.
Mm.
One thing I really like on Ancestry, and I feel a bit hypocritical saying this because I don't use it enough, but when you're searching and you're focusing on a particular branch,
Yeah.
you can make the tree work from that person as the starting point. So you obviously it starts with me and spreads out, which is great.
Yeah.
But if I look at that tree and it's all spreading out and I've accidentally got all the siblings appearing, my tree looks like a mess when it comes from me. But if you do it from the person that you're searching, they become the root.
Mm.
That's really good visually, just to
Mm.
clarify the mind and show you who's about, and then you're not looking accidentally at the brothers and sisters of the next branch along because you can't see it. That's nice and
Mm.
tidy. That's a really useful function, I think.
Mm. Well, I'm actually I'm really in love with all the little tags at the moment. So I've set myself up some little tags for my project of adding the aunties and uncles and their children and their spouses and children going forward and all that.
Yeah.
And so I set myself up this little 4-step tag plan. And so I can't remember what the tags are called. One is like, I think it's, I know what I've called it. It made me laugh when I called it. So Karen Evans, who teaches us DNA in Family Tree Magazine, she has this thing and she calls it back, out, down. So normally you'd be researching your tree back, and she thinks every time you go back a generation, you need to go out and get all their siblings, and then you need to come forward getting all the siblings' descendants. So that's what I'm doing. But because I'm already starting at the back point, I'm starting at my 3 times great grandparents. I don't need to do going back. I just need to go down and out. So I created this tag called down and out, and I was like, that's a bit depressing. So then
Yeah.
I thought, no, I'm going to call it out and down because that's a bit more cheerful rather than down and out. So I set up the first tag, which is down and out, and then I was like, no, this needs to be more complex. I love a bit of complexity. I don't like anything to be too simple. So yeah, so then I kind of let me find them, and then I can find out what they're all called if I find the right person on my tree. Here we go. So the first category is number 1. I put the numbers at the start, then the tags get ordered in order, which pleases my OCD a lot. So the first tag's number 1, out, down, WIP for work in progress. So they're a work in progress person. Then once I've added their children, it's 2 out, down, children added, 3 out, down, children, spouse added, 4 out, down, complete. Nice, isn't it?
As long as that makes sense with you, because I'm totally lost.
Well, it does make sense to me because then when I just hop onto somebody on my tree, I know the tree will show me, but when I'm just looking at their profile, I'll know at a glance, looking at their profile, how far ahead or how thorough my forward tree building has been.
So, where do I add tags? Because it's not something I've done.
Oh, are you in the website bit?
I am in the website bit.
Yeah, so all you need to do is if you go to somebody's profile,
Yep.
and then if you haven't added a photo of them, it has the little blue or pink box, has their name, birth, death, and then there'll be a little button which says add tags.
Oh, yes.
So press add tags. Oh, it's absolutely wonderful, Nathan. Okay, so press add tags, and then
Oh my gosh.
it has some tags which are already set up. So it has a category of DNA tags, which you've already set up, life experience, relationship tags, other research status tags like actively researching and things. And then in custom tags is where I've just added my, to me, pleasingly simple, to you, confusingly waffly set of tags. Yeah. But that's just me. And if it doesn't work as a set of steps for me, I can just evolve them. The tags are, you can add, delete, edit as you like. So I'll just evolve them if I find they're being a bit faffy for me. But so far they're working really well.
Yeah, this is good actually.
Oh, it's so useful. And then while you're in there, so you've gone to the profile, you've pressed the little button which says add tags. You're seeing all the existing tags which Ancestry has set you up to get you going. You've seen the place where it says custom tags where you can generate exactly precise tags just for you.
Mhm.
And then so it says my tree tags. And then in that white bar on the right hand side of the screen, there's another thing which says notes, and there's another, so that's fantastic. So then when I'm doing my research in bed, that notes field's perfect because you haven't got to have another notebook or anything. You don't have to toggle any pages. You can just write exactly what you're doing
Mm-hmm.
if you want to. Yeah. And then in the comments bit, there's a little tab. Can you see the little tab which says comments? So then you can add a comment. So the thing which is really worth knowing is if you add a comment, as far as I remember and understand, anyone else can read that comment. So if someone else went on your tree, they could read the comment. So you can say, this was whatever you want to say, something public. But in your notes, if you wanted to say something, a bit of half-baked idea, still a hypothesis, you're not for sure about it, something you're trying to work through, or something scurrilous, or whatever it is, for whatever reason you don't want other people to see, then you put it in the notes. Comments public.
This actually makes me want to not have a research log.
Well,
This makes me want to just work solely online.
I don't think that's bad. But what I would say is, well, you've got a limited number of characters, which I can't remember how many there are.
Hmm.
So I think there's a limited number of characters with the notes. So if I'm really honest, what I'm going to do with my out and down, not down and out project. So with my out and down project, I am going to be working solely online, and I'm just going to be really focused. This is me trying to train myself not to be the mistress of rabbit holes. I'm just going to get these people on my tree. And so I'm sticking to doing online research just on my iPad. And then I am adding in notes to myself so I know, what I've tried. It's new because things don't always work out, do they? You try some things, it doesn't work. When I come back to it, I don't want to be trying that again. So I'm treating it like a research log, that notes thing. I'm not adding any of this to a research log at this stage, but then at the end, I am going to add it all into a research log. And I put dates when I do things. So because I think for me, that's nice to know.
Obviously, I've flippantly said that, but I don't think I could dismiss my research log because the dating of when I do stuff does make sense and helps me know what I've done at what time.
Yeah.
But the whole concept of like researching a particular person and actually not quite finishing it today, but putting a few tags in place instead of going to my research log and writing what I need to do next. If those tags are in place on Ancestry, then I can just go to those tags.
You can, because they've already got an actively researching tag. So that could be your actively research.
And how do you search by tag?
You can search by tag. I'm sure you can search by tag. I know you can search by tag. I know I have searched by tag in the past. I haven't done it in the last little while, but I've definitely searched by tag in the past, and it'll come up with everybody who you've got that tag for. So for me, when I've got my children added or something, I'll be able to search from that tag. I think it's just the search button. It's just the website's just messing up at the moment for me.
The search icon, filter, click on filters and open the My Tree Tags panel.
Perfect. That's really good.
Nice.
Michelle Leonard first put me onto the tree tags, my tree tags. I was like, oh, this is brilliant.
Yeah, I might give this a go. If I can make it work in a way that makes me want to like navigate through it, I'll do it.
And I think also you could just try it. Try it for a couple of research sessions. Try the tags, and then see, if you think they're effective for you.
Yeah, definitely.
And the notes as well. And then when you're on somebody's profile, it says view notes, view comments. Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, I know I've got lots of information about a lot of people on my tree, but the information's actually either in my head or on my research log. It's not tied to a document necessarily. That's on Ancestry. So I think that all needs recording. I mean, that's it. Sounds like a mammoth task in itself. But
I do love the notes, so I am using them and I do love them. But for me, I don't like the idea of them just being there. They feel a bit. So as I say, at the end, I'll go and pull them all out and put them into a place where I feel I've got control of them in one big place. So for me, it was my project, yeah, my out-down project, and have a big long stream of notes about everything. So you want to have things. You want to have things under your own steam. You want to download your own documents, have your own notes.
yeah,
You don't want to just be tied into one place.
no. Well, as I've said, the type person in me wants to stop my ancestry subscription and go off other places and do loads of free searching. But at the moment, it serves a purpose for me. I don't want to leave everything in that one place, so that then obviously you can access everything, but it doesn't seem like a sensible option.
No, and also you can't. It's not obvious. You can't access everything. So let's say you had built your tree, you've added all those documents, census documents, etc., to your tree that you found in Ancestry, and then you stop your Ancestry subscription and you go back and look at your tree, and you can look at absolutely everybody in your tree. You can look at your 200, 500, 5,000 people on your tree, but all those census documents that you've added from Ancestry without a subscription will just be blurry.
Right.
So that's why you can add them to your tree, but you also need to go save to computer if you want to be able to study them in the future.
Right.
Were paused or ceased your subscription. And also not just for you, like for your descendants. If you say future proofing your tree, then unless you do copy down those documents, anyone you hand your tree onto, or even, whether it's digitally or printed, they're not going to have those documents unless you've downloaded the documents or you have a live subscription.
Yeah, they'd be relying on trust alone that your tree's correct.
Yes. Yeah, and not just the trust. They won't have the fun of looking at the old documents, because it's, even if you don't know about family history, when you see an old census record, like you always say, census is going to be the most popular one, hasn't it? It's fun. It looks intriguing. It's straight away, it says history all over it, even if you don't know what the actual words say.
It does.
Hmm.
Again, as much as it's names and facts and stuff, it gives you that sense of, like, say, history, and suddenly they are people, and there's a different world to explore, isn't there? It's cool.
I haven't done a confession for a while, but I have to say I did use a hint when I was doing my. I know, it was.
Naughty.
I know, it was super helpful. I did check it till I was blue in the face. So it was for which relation would it be? I think it would be like for 3 times great uncle, and it had his. What did it have? His marriage, and then. And everything looked like it was pretty good. The dad's name looked pretty good on the parish register. But then I did do my check that I always like to do. So I went over to the GRO and Free BMD. I searched to see whether I could find how many other contenders were there born around this, who's going to be around that age that I could be getting in a muddle with. And there wasn't anybody. So I was like, okay, I feel confident about this.
All right, that's great.
Yeah. So it was a lovely little hint, and I was very grateful to it.
They are great, and they do bring up some interesting documents. Like I've said, I'm not necessarily yet in the mindset of looking for other documents other than the main birth, marriage, death, or censuses. So when I'm in Ancestry and it says hints and I find a new document, it's largely because of the hints. And I've had examples of that this week. Shall I tell you about my
Definitely.
my stuff that I've been doing? Because I'm quite excited, quite annoyed. Because obviously, yes, I've said I was going to do the facts and just the facts and get through everybody. Well, I'm now totally lost in my George Corliss Savile world. And I literally went on after last week's session. I thought, right, I'm going to do what I've said. I'll get to somebody else. George Corliss Savile and his wife Mary Sharp are my third times great grandparents. That's where I want to be. So technically, I should move to a different branch and get to that level again. So I was like, well, I've got here. I could stop. Maybe I'll just go and, double check the names on a couple of censuses and then I'll leave. So obviously I do that and it just starts throwing up more names, more questions, pictures, various documents. And yeah, I'm kind of lost in it. I kind of got a bit emotional about it. Like, they had a child in 1854 and George doesn't appear. Oh, I'm lying to you? Am I lying to you? I might be wrong about the date. Anyway, they have a child, and basically the child is born a couple of years before the census, and the following census, George doesn't appear. It's just his wife. So, and I don't know this time of year, but I got quite emotional about it. I was like, oh, that's really sad. But anyway, loads of weird stuff. Loads of, as I said last week, loads of strange spellings of Savile. So it's Laville. And then there's lots of Amy's and Anne's and Annie's and so many variations on people's names. It actually was quite frustrating. So I do need to deep dive further into this to clean it out and make sure everybody's all right. But the problem here is George and Mary had 10 children. So I'm going to have to go through every single one and find all that out. Anyway, I think I said last week he had a picture on somebody else's tree. And doing all my research and obviously doing the censuses, I found his parents out, William Saville, who was obviously Laville, and Anne Corliss. Again, lots of different spellings of Corliss, lots of different spellings of Anne. It's all over the place. But then I found pictures of William and I found pictures of Anne as well. And these people are born in like 1800s. And somebody's got pictures of them two together and her in isolation. So I haven't put them on my tree yet, but it's quite exciting to see all that. And that's what's drawn me in a bit more. And then I found George on a directory which I've not seen before. And I don't really know what it does or really what it means, but it's in this directory and it says something like Geo Corliss Saville, and then I guess it's his occupation because it's a directory. It says Sizemah, Albion Road. I guess that must be his job, but I don't know.
Oh, let's have a look. Can you share the screen with me?
I can share the screen with you.
Sorry for anyone listening to the podcast. I know that's a bit useless, isn't it? But then I'll have a fighting chance of maybe being able to know what Nathan's talking about.
What are you suggesting?
No, just my lack of understanding. Yeah. Okay, so it says here that it's in a 1893 Kelly's Directory of Leeds, Sheffield, and Rotherham. So I'll just tell you from the top, but you probably know all this. So the directories is basically like early phone books. Obviously, they haven't got phone numbers in there because people aren't tending to have phone numbers at this stage. Yeah, there are some really early phone books from around this time, but they have just literally a handful of people in them. So this is a trade directory, or it's a directory, and sometimes they'll have they'll just be trade and commercial directories, just listing the people who are kind of working on their own account or prestigious people in society, so like the local doctor, etc., etc. And it'll have what day's market day on, and when the railway times are. You have lots of useful local information, and sometimes it'll have lists of lots of local inhabitants without their occupations. But this section here, which is zoomed in, so I can't see what the category is, but it looks as though it's surnames organised alphabetically. Can you zoom out a bit so I can see a bit more information about the page? And then it looks as though it's for a place called Idle or Ilkley.
Idle, yep.
Yeah, so it's for the place of Idle, and then zoom back in again so I can have a read of it. So George Corliss Saville, Sizemah, Albion Road. So I don't know what that'd be. Would that be like size manufacturer? So size, I think, is glue, isn't it?
Is it? That's interesting.
Does that make sense?
Yes, because there were rumours of somebody owning a glue factory.
Oh, fantastic.
And I have another document. I have his will.
Yeah.
And it says size maker.
Oh, maker then. Maybe size. So Sizemah will be size maker.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, because below that, a few lines below, it's got someone else entirely who's a woolen manufacturer. And manufacturer, the abbreviation there is given as MANUFR. And so yours with MA, that would be maker.
Right. Lovely. So that now does tie in, because there was a story again that's come from my mum about, there's somebody who used to own a glue factory.
And now you could say there was on Albion Road.
Yeah, well, just wait for this. I've got another exciting document for you.
Okay.
I'm going to add this to my tree whilst we're here. Live history in the making. Right. So this is in my hints, and this is his will. This is quite exciting, this one. So here we have his death. Saville George Corliss of Abbey Cottage, Bradford Road, Idle, size maker, died 11th of October 1910, probate, Wakefield, blah, blah, blah. Giving his money to William Saville, a journalist, Frederick Sharp Saville, a draftsman, Anne Myers, wife of Albert Myers, effects £40,424.
8 shillings and 4 pence.
Just to be precise.
Yes.
I've done an adjustment for inflation on this on the internet, and
Mm.
it says he's worth about 5 million
Oof.
by today's standards.
Wow.
So that's quite interesting to dig deeper into.
It is. So what you're looking at here, this is the National Probate Calendar, and as it says here, it says it's the index of wills and administrations from 1858 up to 1995. So this entry here is for your ancestor from 1910.
Yeah.
And so it's packed full. They are such delicious little entries, aren't they? You've got his death date. You've got the date that probate was granted, and then those Savile people mentioned, William and Frederick, have got to be his two sons, we would guess.
Yep.
And then Anne, who's wife of Albert Myers, Anne Myers, is presumably a married daughter.
Yep, I have all three of those on my tree. So,
Wonderful, isn't it?
but I like the fact that William's a journalist as well. I quite like. No, I'm sure it'd tell me on the census, but it's quite cool to see. It's like, oh, I've got a journalist.
Yes. So he's made a lot of money out of his glue.
A whopping sum, yeah.
Mm.
He did have 10 children though, so it's interesting that he's left it to 3 of them.
It is interesting. So I think that is really interesting. I think you did need to find out why.
Yeah, unless, like I said, there was lots of discrepancies with the spellings, but I don't think there were that many discrepancies that it'd make up 7 extra children.
I'm going to tell you something which is going to make you a bit sad, but don't worry, it's not the end of the world. So this entry here that you're looking at is not obviously his will, it's just a little index entry, and it is really, really helpful. It's packed full of information. And up until a couple of weeks ago, if you wanted to order his will, it would have cost you £1.50. And
Yeah,
now it's going to cost 16 blooming pounds.
£16.
Yeah, which isn't the end of the world, but it's just annoying.
Well, it's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, I think, and this to me, this would for me, if it when it's the £1.50 level, you go straight off, ping, order it. It's pocket
Yeah,
money prices. Don't have to worry about it. £16, it goes on the wish list pile. For
definitely. It would have been a no-brainer, wouldn't it? And then
Yeah.
also, this one
Yeah.
just sound really intriguing with it been that amount of money and only got to 3 of his children. Mm. It's a shame I didn't find this document a couple of weeks ago.
It is. So that's so I'm not trying to make you annoyed, but that's the same with all of us with research. You can't. It unfolds at the pace it unfolds, doesn't it? So yeah, I think try and find out what happened to his children, and it could be that if you can't come up with successful successful conclusions about each of them, then you may think, actually, I want to dive into this branch a bit more, and at that stage you might want to order the will just in case, just so you're not leaving any stone unturned. Yeah,
Yeah.
but then I wouldn't do that. There's loads of other stuff you can do first. Now it's 60.
I know. It's just really, really irritating timing, that one. I've not had any real urge or need to look at a will, but given this sum of money and the fact that it is this glue company, there's a lot there that could be worth looking at.
And the fact that the amount of money he's left as well, that is definitely a little trade project to try and find out more about his business, isn't it?
It is. Very intriguing. And once again, it's stopping me from just getting hard facts and going off and getting my tree sorted. But I think a worthwhile pause. I think there's good stuff to look at here.
It's really funny as well how people describe themselves in the record. So he's just described as the size maker without even any capital letters on the word size or maker, which doesn't they need capitals, but sometimes people kind of says kind of a little bit about what they feel about the status sometimes when they whap a capital at the start. And then he's making a lot of money out of that. And then I've got an ancestor who, what would he be? He is my 2 times great grandfather, and he is living up in Stirling, and he was a plasterer by trade, became a master plasterer, ended up selling tiles, and his adverts in the local directory are fantastic. They're like, purveyor of the finest possible tiles to humanity. He doesn't literally say humanity, but he's very, very pleased and proud about his business. So I'm not mocking him, but it's just interesting that some of the people really go for it with their marketing, and then others of the ancestors just go, yep, size maker, even though they're making a cool £5 million in today's money off the back of it. It's just really curious and fun to find.
Understated. Probably just watching the pennies and just like making sure nobody else knows they've got all of them.
Yes, maybe. Yeah.
I'm going into my Ebenezer Scrooge sort of.
Yes.
The Christmas vibes have got me. Isn't that cool?
It is cool. So what Nathan showed me is a picture of Anne Corliss. So is this William's wife?
I d Yes, it should be. It should be William's wife. William isn't the guy who had the glue factory. William is George's dad. But
Ah.
but equally, I've got a picture of Anne and William together.
Mm.
But I've seen on somebody else again. I've seen on somebody else's tree a picture of George, and George looks very much like his dad to the point where I think it's a confused entry.
Mm.
Check out the
Mm.
picture of William there, and then if I go to again, this is going through hints, so it's other people's tree. So this is saying that this is George Corliss Savile, but actually it looks particularly just like the chap I've just shown you in the previous image.
Mm.
It was William. But equally, maybe the glue factory was his and he gave it to his son. I've got lots of research to go for here, haven't I? Lots of,
You have. I mean, this is another kind of rabbit hole. So with dating those photos, I don't know this information off the top of my head. Jane Shrimpton is an expert and knows all of it off the top of her head. If I was going to try and find it out, I would be diving back into one of her books. One of the photos you showed me was a cabinet card, and it had a dark green border. And so the colours of the borders, they kind of went through fashion trends, just how we, at the moment, for the last 10 or 20 years, that everything's been painted grey. Everyone's been in love with charcoal grey and cream and beige, haven't they? And all that sort of thing. And then if you go back to the 70s, there's lots of jades and oranges and all sorts of things. So ours is just the same and go on crazes in colours. So that dark green border to the cabinet card, that will help to date the photo. And so using a combination of the people's appearance, so how old do those people look in that photo? I would say they look to me as though they've got to be in their 60s at least. And then using a combination of their clothes. So I would say the woman, I was guessing that she looks though she's actually from the 1890s, but maybe not, because she hasn't got really puffy sleeves, and the 1890s is renowned for that famous what's it called, button sleeve, with the big puffy shoulders. Yeah.
I mean, you say I haven't got a clue, but yes, I'll agree with you.
So I could be wrong about that, but they're a funny little headdress. It could be the 1870s. I don't know. Anyway, we need someone. If you wanted to find out about this information, we could even get photos and then ask Jane if she wouldn't mind having a look at them. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what I would do before, because we'd want to share the photos in the magazine so that we can share what we found, I'd probably drop the people whoever, if you can track down the owner of the photo and go, hey, do you mind if I do this with it, just out of courtesy? Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll look into that, yeah.
Yeah.
But everything I'm saying sounds about right. I think from what my research says, he died in 1871.
Yeah.
So the photograph probably was taken in a 10-year ballpark around then.
Yes. But I saw another of those dates. One of them died in 1867, and those photos just look later than the date that they're saying. So the tree is saying somebody died in 1867.
Right.
I think the photos look like from later on in the Victorian period.
She definitely has a look of Queen Victoria about her.
Yeah. And I think cabinet cards, which is what that green photo is, I think they only started in, I'm going to get this wrong. This is going to be one of those confession times. I think they only became in kind of common use in England in the 1860s. So,
Right.
but so it could have been.
That does kind of tie in my opinion.
Close just in the 1860s to me.
I mean, I haven't a clue about
Now
that.
no one else can see what we're looking at. Should we get Dana here? But anyway, so the rough things you're thinking about is how old are these people? What dates of death do I have of them?
Yeah.
What colour are the borders? The photographer's name on there. Can I go and look up here how you're just looking in the trade directory and found George in the trade directory? You look up the photographer's name, put it into search and see if you can find the photographer, work out what dates they're in action, and then dating the clothing, which is, I think, the hardest thing.
Yeah. Cool. More rabbit holes for me.
More rabbit holes.
More research.
But because you're doing, I feel like Nathan can do it. You're holding up the chalice for doing careful, accurate research. Whereas I do careful, accurate research, but I have done a lot of uncareful, inaccurate research as well, and undocumented research. So I'm like, Nathan, you can do it. I feel like a little old person on their deathbed going, it's over to you, Nathan. You don't
Um,
want to be adding these photos until you're absolutely sure that they at least are a credible fit, even if you aren't 100%. You've got to be credible fit for the time period, haven't they, that they're depicting?
exactly, yeah. I'm excited by them. As I've said many times, I'd like to get
Mm,
photographs, but
mm,
I'm not willing to add them until I do actually know.
mm.
But that requires work and effort.
It's so much work and effort.
Yeah, because I think that's what, as much as I'm saying I'm getting lost in these people, I like the core element of I know what I can do to get my tree backwards by looking at the censuses, by linking things. That's now the calm part for me.
Mm.
'Cause I'm so used to it. But anything beyond that is like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to go do some different style of research and learn new skills, which I'm not against, but obviously in everyone's busy lives, it becomes a harder task, and then it's like, I'll put that on my to-do list and I'll kick back to the census instead.
And I think also there's some things, so these core skills of knowing which key records to look at to build an accurate, effective tree. There's something that every single one of us needs to get our heads around in order to be an effective family historian. But other things like analysing specialist records, whether it's military records or whether it's being able to date an old photograph accurately, that is like a whole world of detail, specialist detail. So partly, I don't think it's realistic to think that we can, all of us can acquire that knowledge. That's why you have specialist historians in these particular areas, lots of other areas as well, DNA, all sorts of specialist areas, aren't there?
Yeah.
Chantry records, whatever. It's just loads of specialists. But what we can learn is to think, um, always keeping, not making assumptions, thinking, why, how might I go wrong with this piece of information I found? So you found a photo, it's extremely exciting. Not just you, any of us, we want to add it to our tree, but is this a credible fit for the time period? Yes, it is, or no, it isn't, or I'm not sure. So what can I do when I don't know? Well, one thing you can do is you can write into Family Tree magazine, and we will. Can't do all of them, but we choose some of the photos, and we field them onto Jane Shrimpton, who's a photo dating and costume expert, or we have lots of different experts. We'd field on the information you found to an expert, and then we'd showcase it in the magazine as a question and answer. Or you can work with professional genealogists directly yourself, or you could go into a Facebook group related to that topic and ask people for their opinion. And very often these Facebook groups are administered by people who are experts in their field. So like Donna Rutherford being an administrator on the DNA Facebook group that she administers, or and Graham Bandy's in a military Facebook group. So very often, although you're going to get a whole bunch of members of the public who aren't necessarily specialists chipping in with their two pennyworth, the administrators will chip in and have fantastic specialist knowledge. There's lots. So partly what I'm trying to say is, don't worry if we can't know everything. Don't worry if we're on limited time. This does, I think, really help with the how to build a great tree. It's like knowing when to call in. Like when you do your house, like I can paint the walls, but when the tap breaks, I'm calling in the plumber. There's no way I can mend a tap. Yeah, I'm not even going to try. Yeah, I'm just right on the phone immediately. And it's that same thing with our family history, isn't it?
It is definitely. I mean, that for me, that's just a really quick example of how easy it can be to not do it correctly. Like, I was so excited to see the picture of George Savile. I quickly looked on it. 7 other people have added it to their tree for George Savile, but it wasn't until I've gone back one step further and seen this picture of his dad, who looks the exact spit, that's made me say, that's not right. Or
One of them's wrong.
if it isn't right, if it is right, then they are so alike, but it needs investigating. So suddenly it becomes my urge to add it to my tree is gone because I don't want it to be wrong. But it does, like you say, require the specialist knowledge. I need to do some diving or send it off to someone.
Yeah, do some asking.
Yeah,
I think there's no shame in that. We there's no shame in, it's like it's really fun doing our own family history, but it's also really useful to get a second pair of eyes, especially a specialist second pair of eyes sometimes.
yeah. Oh boy, so much.
Sorry.
No, it's good. Good.
You're being a good influence on me. I literally, Nathan, after last week's podcast, when I just reflected on lots of things you said, and I was just like, I'm just doing my own calm plan. I don't mind what anyone else is doing. I'm just being methodical, just dialing it all down, not trying to accomplish a million and one things, just stick with a simple little plan. It's just so nice and calm.
Well, that's not fair because I've said that and I've gone the opposite way. Now I'm like, oh my God, everybody, everywhere, all at once. It's not good.
No, it's not. It's gotta be satisfying. So whatever, I need a bit of calm in my life at the moment. Everything needs to be very calm.
I think the thing for me to take away is as much as I want to get everybody at this one level along my entire tree, I'm enjoying myself. So
Yeah.
in getting lost in this guy, and now obviously there's this story because there's clearly a business to look at, and that could be lead to more interesting documents for me to find.
Mm.
Um, it's fun, isn't it? And then I'm sure like my family will want to know about this, and because this glue factory always gets mentioned, but nobody ever seemed to know who it tied to. So I'm about to discover that. So
Mm.
it's cool. It's good.
Mm. And that'd be fun as well to look in old newspapers. So trade directories would be really good to see what else you can find out. Because so you found one entry of him in the 1893. So then you can also go back to trade directories and look for him on purpose. So you go to Ancestry, go to the card catalogue, just look for trade directories and see like when did he start trading, when did he finish trading, then go to newspaper collections. So Find My Past is fantastic for their British newspaper collections, and look and see if you can find any adverts, any maybe some run-ins he had with other trading partners or anything. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. A
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, a lot as ever. So we actually next week, Nathan, we have a very special guest.
Do we?
We actually do. They're
Oh,
a very busy person. They're just going to pop along for about 15 minutes and they're going to talk to us about AI.
oh, nice.
I know.
Is it
So,
Sarah Connor?
no,
Do you know who Sarah Connor is?
no.
That's your research. That's your homework for this week.
Okay, okay. I'll have to write that down. It's probably somebody really, really famous and I have absolutely no idea who they are. I've literally written it down.
You are actually writing it down. Uh, it's just me just doing a pop culture reference. Never mind.
It's completely wasted on me.
So anyway, sorry, I hijacked that. Who's coming to see us then?
Oh, Carol McCulloch.
Oh, very good.
I
I know
know.
Carolyn.
Yeah, all the way from Australia. And yeah, she's gonna give us we're just gonna quiz her. I've warned her. Come along to the podcast in barbecue mode, not in dinner mode.
Okay, lovely.
Mhm.
We can talk some nonsense to her then.
Mhm. Mhm.
Lovely.
Strictly on the topic of AI family history.
Oh, you know I'm gonna go off on tangents. Anyway, fine.
Tangents are fine.
That's
Tell
cool.
us a good story. She loves stories and tangents. You'll be fine. She just loves the tech as well. Yeah.
Nice. Oh, that'll be really good.
Yeah. Do you know what? Do you know what, Nathan?
No.
We were so busy waffling when we started this, we didn't even say who we were.
Oh, I'm Nathan Lord.
And I'm Helen Tovey, and we work on a wonderful magazine called Family Tree, and we do all sorts of lovely online courses and talks over at our website, which is www.family-tree.co.uk, and we have a free e-newsletter which comes out at least once a week. And of course, we do this lovely podcast, and everything is all about family history.
It sure is.
Yeah. Okay, take care then. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.